Jay from Gamergrade here, bringing you another Witcher 3 video, this time explaining the new mutation skills exclusive to the latest Blood and Wine expansion. These new mutations combined with regular skills allow you to transform Geralt into an unstoppable force. Mutations are acquired through a quest that you can take on relatively early during your time in Toussaint. Once you've gained access, you'll soon come to find that although specific in their use, mutations can greatly enhance the effectiveness of Geralt in many diverse ways. As such, this guide has been put together showing you how to best combine these new mutations with existing skills and abilities, resulting in helping you put together character builds that will be of a huge benefit and allowing a much easier playthrough of the most demanding Deathmarch difficulty. Okay, so how exactly do you unlock these new mutation skills? Well, as mentioned, you need to complete a secondary quest in order to gain access to the new mutations menu. This quest is named Turn and Face the Strange. In this quest, whilst travelling around Toussaint, you will encounter a messenger boy who has a letter for you. This triggers a cutscene which in turn triggers the quest. Once you're on the trail, the quest itself isn't too difficult, although it is reasonably lengthy and involved, taking around 45 minutes to complete. By the end of it, you'll have access to the mutations tree. I've also uploaded a guide on this quest which you can find in the description. I'll also put up a screen annotation which you should see right about now. It's also worth mentioning that the game doesn't inform you that you've gained access to the mutations once the quest is over. The mutation menu simply appears as part of the character tab. So, how exactly do the mutations work? Mutations add a whole new layer to Geralt's development, so the fresh system is something that you'll need to wrap your head around. Mutations work on top of your existing skills and abilities, the ones that you buy with your regular skill points when you level up. There are a total of 12 mutations in all. You can only have one mutation active at a time, and like existing skills and abilities, each mutation belongs to a different skill category or colour, as follows. Red are combat mutations, blue are science mutations, and green are alchemy mutations. Advanced mutations, distinguished by their yellow colour, require multiple types of mutagens to unlock, but they allow you to use a combination of abilities from the combat, science and alchemy categories. So, depending on which mutation you have equipped at any one time, you'll be able to equip up to 4 extra skills or abilities from categories for which that particular mutation allows access. However, unlocking the entire mutation tree is an expensive endeavour. You will need 21 greater mutagens as follows: 12 red, 5 blue and 4 green. Then on top of this you will also require 21 unused ability points, the points you acquire when levelling up. So to recap, that's 21 greater mutagens and 21 ability points to unlock everything. It's also worth seeking out the 5 free ability points from the power stones found at the places of power. I've also created a video guide on where to find all 5 of these locations and how to access them. They are all easy to acquire early on in your adventure, so are definitely worth the effort. I'll link this video guide in the description and throw up an annotation right about now. As well as randomly dropping from enemies, greater mutagens are also created by combining lesser mutagens. It's also worth noting that you can create lesser mutagens by using the alchemy lab in Corvo Bianco by dismantling enemy mutagens. Remember, enemy mutagens can't be used with mutations in their raw form and therefore must be first dismantled. Ultimately, mutations are great fun for testing new builds, not to mention incredibly powerful tools, so they're well worth the effort. You may be after just one specific mutation to create a particular build, but it's worth unlocking all 12 for the following reason. In order to unlock the 4 extra ability slots mentioned earlier, you'll need to have unlocked specific amounts of mutations. So for example, the first extra ability slot is unlocked when you acquire 2 mutations, the second ability slot is unlocked when you acquire 4 mutations, the third is unlocked when you acquire 8, and the fourth when you have all 12. The large passive ability you will see in the middle of the tree is the strengthened synapses ability. This is responsible for unlocking the additional 4 ability slots as you unlock the required number of mutations. It will automatically do this and will clearly display its progress. Okay, with the basics out of the way, let's take a look at the mutations themselves and complementary abilities for the best builds. The following 6 mutation builds are our personal favourites. There are another 6 mutations for which you can base interesting and effective builds, but the following 6 are the ones we would personally want to base our characters on, as follows. Deadly Counter and Bloodbath, which are both combat mutations, Magic Sensibilities and Piercing Cold, which are both Signs mutations, Mutated Skin, which is a combat and alchemy mutation, and finally Second Life, which is a combat plus Signs plus alchemy mutation. Okay, first up is Deadly Counter, the first of the 2 combat mutations. This mutation will allow access to the combat and general skill categories for choosing skills to place in your bonus 4 ability slots. The game description says, sword attacks deal 25% more damage to human opponents immune to counter attacks and monsters. In all other cases, if the attacker's vitality is less than 25%, a counter attack immediately triggers a finisher. Deadly Counter is ideal for builds focusing on the raw damage output that it gives to sword attacks. The 25% damage increase is a significant boost when you combine it with skills that already enhance the damage that you deal with your blades. Counter attacking also comes into the equation for enemies that have less than 25% health, so in short, if you enjoy a counter attacking playstyle and want to be as deadly as possible with your swords, the Deadly Counter mutation is a great fit. Skills and abilities that work well with the Deadly Counter mutation are as follows. Muscle Memory, combat category, first column, second row, increases the base damage of your fast attacks. Strength Training, combat category, second column, second row, increases the base damage of your strong attacks. Sunder Armor, combat category, second column, fifth row, weakens your enemy's damage resistance with each strong blow. Counter Attack, combat category, third column, fourth row, allows you to deal more damage after a successful counter, giving you even more reason to counter when you can. Cat School Techniques, general category, third column, first row, each piece of light armor increases critical hit and fast attack damage, a must if you prefer using light armor and using light attacks. Bear School Techniques, general category, fifth column, first row, each piece of heavy armor increases maximum vitality and strong attack damage, a must if you prefer using heavy armor and using strong attacks. The next build is based on the second of the 2 combat mutations called Bloodbath. This mutation will allow access to the combat and general skill categories for choosing skills to place in your bonus 4 ability slots. The game description says, each fatal blow dealt by a sword dismembers the enemy or activates a finisher. Each blow dealt by a weapon in melee combat increases attack power by 5% until combat ends, to a maximum of 250%. The bonus is lost if you take damage, not including damage from toxicity. Bloodbath steadily increases your damage output every time that you strike an enemy, so this build is all about building momentum and not taking damage. Against enemies with large health bars, this mutation combined with skills that complement it gives you the ability to do massive damage if you can keep up your combo. High risk but high reward. Skills that work well with the Bloodbath mutation are Whirl, combat category, first column, fourth row. Whirl allows Geralt to perform a spinning attack that strikes all foes multiple times in the surrounding area. This is perfect for Bloodbath, allowing that extra damage to rack up quickly. Sunder Armor, combat category, second column, fifth row. Reduces the damage resistance of your foes with every strong attack that connects, allowing you to build even more potential damage output. Razor Focus, combat category, fifth column, fourth row, allows you to build up adrenaline points at a faster rate when attacking with your blades. These adrenaline points can then be used to activate skills like Whirl, just mentioned, or can be saved to power up the focus skill, mentioned shortly. Active Shield, Signs category, fourth column, third row. Active Shield is the alternate mode for Quen, which allows you to quickly activate and maintain a shield when the going gets tough, allowing Bloodbath to remain active even if you get hit. Active shields will drain your stamina to maintain, but damage absorbed by the shield restores your vitality. Quen Intensity, Signs category, fourth column, fourth row, allows your Quen shield to soak up even more damage. Axii Intensity, Signs category, fifth column, fourth row. Axii is perfect for opening up your opponent to rack up those easy free hits, so increasing its effectiveness is worthwhile. Focus, general category, fourth column, second row. Uses your saved adrenaline points to boost the damage of your sword attacks even further. The third build is based on the first of the 2 Signs mutations, named Magic Sensibilities. This mutation will allow access to the Signs and general skill categories for choosing skills to place in your bonus 4 ability slots. The game description says, Signs now deal critical hits. Their critical hit chance and damage increase with Sign intensity. Opponents killed by critical hits from Signs explode. Magic Sensibilities can make signs like Igni and Ard far more damaging. With this build, your offensive signs become potentially deadly. The critical hit chance of your signs can be increased by bolstering your sign intensity, so focusing on skills that boost the effectiveness of your signs and heighten their intensity is key. If you use signs a lot in combat, then Magic Sensibilities is for you. Skills that work well with the Magic Sensibilities mutation are Flood of Anger, combat category 5th column 5th row. Gives your sign a large power boost as long as you have the adrenaline points to activate it. It also boosts that sign's intensity by 25%, increasing the critical hit chance even further. Ard Intensity, Signs category, 1st column 4th row. You'll want Ard to be as intense as possible, maximising its critical hit potential. Shockwave, Signs category, 1st column 5th row. Allows Ard to do damage upon impact, which will be increased if you get a critical hit. Firestream, Signs category, 2nd column 3rd row. This is Igni's most damaging form, so combined with maximum intensity is an obvious choice. Igni Intensity, Signs category, 2nd column 4th row. More intensity means more critical hit chance, another obvious choice. Magic Trap, Signs category, 3rd column 3rd row. Magic Trap is Yarden's alternate mode, which can deal out some surprisingly good damage under the right circumstances. Yarden Intensity, Signs category, 3rd column 4th row. You know the score, the more intensity, the more critical hit chance. Griffin School Techniques, General category, 4th column 1st row. Medium armor is a must for this build. Griffin School Techniques ensures that your sign intensity is maximised. Rage Management, General category, 2nd column 2nd row. Allows you to keep dishing out signs even when you don't have any stamina by using adrenaline points instead. Adrenaline Burst, General category, 3rd column 2nd row. Works well with Rage Management just mentioned, as it gives you the ability to generate adrenaline points with signs, and signs is what this build is all about. Focus, General category, 4th column 2nd row. The more adrenaline points you have, the more your sign intensity increases, a must for this build. The 4th build is based on the 2nd of the 2 signs mutations named Piercing Cold. This mutation will allow access to the signs and general skill categories for choosing skills to place in your bonus 4 ability slots. The game description says, when the Ard sign is cast, it additionally has a 25% chance of freezing opponents. Opponents knocked down and frozen simultaneously die immediately. Opponents who are not frozen are dealt an additional 3,107 damage. This build focuses on Piercing Cold's freezing capabilities, and it's all about bolstering Geralt's Ard sign. This build can easily be expanded upon to suit your own fighting style while turning Ard into your most formidable weapon, especially against multiple foes. If Ard is your sign, then Piercing Cold is your mutation. Skills that work well with the Piercing Cold mutation are Far-reaching Ard, Signs category, 1st column 2nd row. The more range you have on Ard's blast, the better. Ard Sweep, Signs category, 1st column 3rd row. Ard Sweep is Ard's alternate mode, and is great in instances where you are surrounded by enemies. Chance to knock down your enemies is reduced, but you can still deal some significant damage when used with Piercing Cold. Ard Intensity, Signs category, 1st column 4th row. More intensity means more knockdowns, and more knockdowns means more instant death, a must for this build. Shockwave, Signs category, 1st column 5th row. This will add extra bonus damage for Ard, the more damage the better. Griffin School Techniques, General category, 4th column 1st row. Griffin School Techniques offers more sign intensity for each piece of medium armor, a good bonus for this build. Adrenaline Burst, General category, 3rd column 2nd row. Signs will now generate adrenaline points. Since you will be using Ard a lot, it's well worth having the extra generation. Focus, General category, 4th column 2nd row. Saved adrenaline points now increase your sign intensity. This works very well with the Adrenaline Burst just mentioned. The 5th build is based on the Mutated Skin mutation and gives access to the Combat plus Alchemy plus General Skills categories for choosing skills to place in your bonus 4 ability slots. The game description says each adrenaline point decreases damage received by 15% to a maximum of 45%. Mutated skin can turn Geralt into a walking tank as long as you can efficiently generate adrenaline points. This build concentrates on survivability coupled with skills that rack up adrenaline points quickly so that you're always taking minimal damage. Skills that work well with the mutated skin mutation are Fleet-footed, combat category, third column, third row. Already a nice way to increase survivability by making you immune to attacks while dodging. Fleet-footed stacks well with the mutated skin mutation. Resolve, combat category, 5th column, 2nd row. Losing fewer adrenaline points when you're attacked can only increase the effectiveness of this build. Undying, combat category, 5th column, 3rd row. Undying naturally makes Geralt more resilient, potentially giving him an extra life. Razor Focus, combat category, 5th column, 4th row. Allows Geralt to generate more adrenaline points with sword blows, a must for this build. Active Shield, Science category, 4th column, 3rd row. The alternate mode for Quen, which is great for gaining back lost health and increasing Geralt's survivability further. Survival Instinct, general category, 2nd column, 1st row. Increases your maximum health. The more health the better. Bear Skull techniques, general category, 5th column, 1st row. Vitality is increased with each piece of heavy armor, bolstering this build's effectiveness. Adrenaline Burst, general category, 3rd column, 2nd row. Adrenaline point generation is increased even further, and signs now also generate points. Focus, general category, 4th column, 2nd row. You're going to be generating a lot of adrenaline points with this build, so taking the extra damage that comes with focus is a good choice. The final 6th build is based on the second life mutation. This is an advanced mutation which gives access to all combat, plus signs, plus alchemy, plus general skill categories for choosing skills to place in your bonus 4 ability slots. The game description says, when vitality reaches 0, you become temporarily invulnerable and regenerate 100% vitality. This effect can only be triggered once every 3 minutes. The benefits of this mutation are obvious, and due to its relatively short 3-minute cooldown, it will give you a second wind in most battles. A great choice for bolstering survivability, just make sure to keep one eye on the timer so you can time those deaths. Skills that work well with the second life mutation are Undying, combat category, 5th column, 3rd row. Undying has you covered if your vitality reaches 0 but second life is still on cooldown. It will use adrenaline points instead to resurrect you, making you even harder to kill. Active Shield, Science category, 4th column, 3rd row. Active Shield will make Geralt even harder to kill, converting damage taken into vitality. Quen Intensity, Science category, 4th column, 4th row. The more intensity Quen has, the more damage it can soak up with each use. Puppet, Science category, 5th column, 3rd row. Puppet is Axe's alternate mode and is great for fights involving multiple enemies, converting one of them into an ally. For this reason, it can buy you that chunk of extra time needed for second life to cool down. Domination, Signs category, 5th column, 5th row. Useful for the same reason as Puppet, just mentioned, but with Domination 2 enemies can be converted to allies instead of just 1. Survival Instinct, general category, 2nd column, 1st row. This will give you an instant health boost of 500, granting you that little extra survivability. Bear Skull techniques, general category, 5th column, 1st row. If you've got a full suit of heavy armour, then Bear Skull techniques should grant you a decent amount of bonus health, whilst bolstering your strong attack damage. And there you have it, 6 of our favourite and most powerful mutations explained and explored. There's really so much you can play around with and tailor to your specific playstyle, not to mention utilising potions and decoctions for even more unique builds. As shown in this gameplay video, where Geralt is utilising the Piercing Cold mutation as well as a superior Blizzard potion. This potion will allow Geralt to spam his signs without stamina degradation, making him seriously OP. Hope you enjoy!
upgrade.com.